We go.
First off, y'all is smart. This is the exact Blah. The comment says, I wish men would understand that emotional intelligence is so important because of how much clarity/security it would bring to your lives. Y'all think bitches just be talking in y'all ear just to be talking. We don't. Y'all think want to argue with y'all because y'all refuse to expand your emotional vocabulary. We don't. It's to provide clarity for both us and y'all dusty. Let me stop.
Okay, yeah, please stop. So this is supposed to be a therapist? Like, who's going to her for therapy? You got to be out your mind to think that this is the person that you're going to sit down with and give your most deepest, darkest moments and feelings to. And she's going to understand where you're coming from and give you the correct advice. If you're going to this lady for advice already, I can tell you right now, you need to look somewhere else. Her verbiage and all of this to be a therapist is just out of line. I'm sorry. You know, it's interesting how you can have people like this who are telling men they need to expand their emotional vocabulary, but her vocabulary is very on the low side, unarticulate side. Why can't she verbalize herself in a much more rational way? And she's a therapist telling men that they need to become emotionally intelligent and expand their emotional vocabulary. This is what's happening out here. It's like we're in the goddamn Twilight Zone. Baby, you can't make this up, but let's continue.
This really truly irks me because when I say you need to expand your emotional vocabulary, it's so your life can be easier. Don't you want to be able to communicate with your I think yes, right? Long gone are the days where you can just shut down. Not tolerating that. Like it used to be where men provided financially or with Schmeat and can make their own self and we can pay for our own. So I'm gonna need y'all to catch up on the emotional part. If a bitch is telling you I need you to communicate more, open your mouth. But you know what I realized? And let me back up. Let me back up. A common misconception about me as a clinician is that 90% of my clientele have been men, Black men specifically. And what we specifically work on is expanding their emotional vocabulary because a lot of y'all don't even have the words to express how you're feeling. So when you expand your vocabulary and knowledge of what you are experiencing, because y'all are human beings who experience feelings and emotions and don't have to choke that down no more. Y'all knowledge of that down since 2016. Anyway, if y'all are not in therapy, expanding your emotional vocabulary, your life just off top is going to be more difficult.
Baby, let me stop right here. Yes, indeed, baby, I know you lying. If more men start to expand their emotional vocabulary, that's going to fix all the problems. Women are going to be fine with men now, Black men in particular. Are women going to be okay with men being able to have a higher sense of emotional vocabulary? So if they expand their emotional vocabulary, is all is well, right? All is well. Black women are going to respect them. Black women are going to start to appreciate them. Black women are going to hold them in a high regard.
Hey there. Fair use, fair use, fair use. I was only sharing on that screen. You can check out the original video that was shown. You can go to the original content creator. I was just using an excerpt to show an example of what I'm talking about. Now, it's only relatively recently that I have been hearing about this term called emotional intelligence. It was also mentioned in the video that we just saw, something about when it comes to emotional vocabulary. So we're gonna get into that, and I'm actually gonna look up the term to see if that's actually a real thing. By the way, anybody who is seeing this, anybody who's watching that doesn't know anything about who I am, my name is the Introvert Boricua. The people that know me a little more closely know me by my first name, it being Ramon, very typical name among us Hispanics. And yes, I wanted to touch on this. I want not so much about the person that is being talked about, because she's already suffering the consequences. I mean, it's too easy to pick on somebody that everybody is putting on blast already. That's not what this is about. It's about what she kept saying over and over. when it comes to the whole thing about emotional intelligence and how it is being used, specifically when it comes to us men. Um, I have my doubts as to whether or not that is a real thing, and because it's just that going back to say the 1990s when I was younger, there was no such thing. I mean, that's why they have to use two different words because the word emotional or emotions, um, that has its own meaning, and intelligence has its own meaning altogether. So, how can emotions be intelligent? I mean, how an emotion is intelligent. That is something that I have learned, even from music when I was younger, is that emotions are unpredictable. Emotions are not supposed to me to make any sense. I mean, so developing an intelligence with something that is not supposed to make any sense because it goes by how people feel. So what people feel is not necessarily meant to make sense. So that's something that I am forced to question it. I don't pretend to know anything about it, but I'm just going by a little bit of logic when it comes to it. I have my doubts about it. Yeah, Stina. I've been hearing about her some myself, but this is not about her. This is not about her. She's already being put on blast, but she did it on her own. She brought that on herself because that whole notion that she could get on online and get on a platform in a platform like TikTok, where it's gonna be seen by so many people, and like you said, Christina, she was really doing the most. Uh, but I don't know anything about the last thing that I read about is that um, she was fired. That she was fired from her job. But the thing is that she seems to be doubling down and blaming men. She's one of those women. She's not taking accountability. Uh, she wasn't taking accountability. She was just running her mouth, making things worse. Keep blaming everybody but herself, and just making a fool out of herself. I don't want to go on and on that because again, it's not about her. I don't care about her. Uh, and like you were saying, Stina, you were saying, I think it means being able to control and handle your emotions. We're gonna get into it a little bit in a moment. And you were also saying, and also being able to communicate your emotions. That's something that I have to contend with, and I'm gonna get into it. I would love for you to join me up here on a panel, but I'm gonna be putting the link in the chat soon. Because as a man, it's not one thing is for a woman to be able to communicate her emotions. Another thing is for a man to be to to communicate his emotions. And I can only share a little bit, share with you a little bit of what my experience has been when it comes to that. For one, might be okay. For another, it might not be so okay. So we're gonna get into that in a moment. I appreciate you, Stina, to also being on the chat. Don't just disappear. I know that it will be too much to ask for you to join the panel, but I still appreciate you being on the chat. So when it comes to this whole thing, like I was saying, this is a term that I have only been hearing about fairly recently. There is this whole thing, and before, because of how she kept saying it over and over, and she was saying it with her chest, like she was saying it with pride, like we men are just so. I don't. She was saying we're chest. She was saying it with pride, like women have the emotional intelligence and men don't have it because men are so dumb. And also, when she was talking about the emotional vocabulary, I'm gonna have to look that up because I have never heard of that before, and how we men can't do it because we're so dumb. Really, because she was kind of saying it, being slick about it. I mean, I can tell when somebody is being slick with their words. She may be saying, specifying that it was about the whole emotional intelligence, but she was saying it's so much with her chest that it sounded like she went something else entirely. Just intelligence. It sounded like she was she was just meaning all of that. It was intelligence, just intelligence. Period. That's what it sounded like. And I might join this Friday. Don't have to worry about putting my girls to bed and all of that. I can imagine. I can imagine. Well, you are head of a household, and I know that you have to tend to your babies. But something I wanted to ask you: you haven't done any streams lately. I have to catch up on the videos that you did, your blog, when it comes to your travels. And yeah, I was getting a little nostalgic because I mean, because of my situation, I haven't been able to travel. I haven't been able to go anywhere really. The little traveling that I have been able to do recently, it's been for important stuff, things that have been important. It was not a vacation at all. You know the story when it comes to that. This year already has been shit. So, but I don't, you know what I'm referring to. I don't have to go over that again. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. And in the meantime, you guys feel free to hit the link and join me. I'm kind of like having that question mark when it comes to the whole emotional intelligence and emotional vocabulary, and to see what does that mean, because I am not familiar with that. I will be honest with it. And I'm gonna be letting my first panelist come out in a moment. And you guys that are in the chat, feel free to hit the link. So I'm gonna be adding my first panelist. Evening, Don Jose.
Good evening again. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. Just I was looking forward to touching onto the subject. I appreciate you coming on up. So I don't know if when it comes to the term, when it comes to the term, to the title of the stream, is that something that you have ever heard about, or is there anything that you get the impression on? I don't expect you to know, because this term doesn't have a definite definition. It's not really defined. It depends on who you ask. That's what I'm finding. I mean, I have looked at it on like a dictionary. I'm not finding it because it's two words. You can find the definition for one word, the definition for the other word, but both, I'm not finding like a real definition. But I can give you in a moment. I can highlight what tends to be defined as. Go ahead, Don Jose.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for allowing me on your platform. I mean, I did see the video regarding this so-called therapist, and I'm glad that she got terminated, because I mean, the last thing we need is to have a trained professional to make people feel worse than what they are feeling right now.
Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my next panelist. What's going on, Rakim?
Shout out to my boy Ramon. Shout out to my YouTube dad Jose. What's going on?
Good evening.
Yeah, so something that you saw the title of the stream. I'm sure that you're familiar with the person that was going on and on about the lack of emotional intelligence in men. If you're familiar with it, if you're familiar with the situation, and if you want to share your point of view on that, what's on your mind on it?
Yes, I'm definitely familiar with the terminology of EQ. EQ is emotional intelligence, and some
Hmm.
people can lack thereof, which having a lack of emotional intelligence can cause you to be in a very turbulent situation. It can cost you situations where you can go to jail, it can cost you your life, or it can cost you to do severe damage to your career, just like what this lady has done. If it's true that she's a nurse, because we know, I just find it difficult for, and that just goes to show you as well, because EQ plays a part in this, because we have a lot of people that repost this video, that's put this video out there with their commentary, but no one is actually questioning if this woman, I'm sorry, I apologize, not a nurse, if she's a therapist. No one's actually questioning if she's a therapist. I've never seen a therapist feel so comfortable to get online and spew all of this rhetoric, especially when men are her main clientele, and on top of that, that's her bread and butter. So it comes off to me as a person that's looking for attention just to go viral, because we know how a lot of these women online, unfortunately, crave attention. And some people just don't care if it's negative attention or not, as long as they're getting attention. And yeah, I've seen situations growing up where people lack emotional intelligence, and usually lacking emotional intelligence is someone that's very emotional and get the yelling and screaming, which I've seen from men that mostly grew up in households where they was raised by their mother, and a lot of the times they're used to their mother yelling and screaming at them, and their mother feeling some type of way about a certain situation and taking it out on them. So therefore, those are the type of men, especially in the environment that I grew up, that go out into the streets and they get into arguments with other men, and each party is yelling and screaming until it goes to fisticuffs. And if a person is still um, angry about that, then unfortunately firearms get drawn. So like that's what happens a lot of the times. And having a low emotional EQ is not being able to rationalize things and not being able to observe somebody's character, and not just being able to fully understand based off of facts. You're just thinking off of emotion. You're not thinking off of facts. So mostly a lot of people too, I know, that have good emotional EQ is able to observe things and being able to take things in for what they are, and being able to dissect them from that point on.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yes.
So, Don Jose, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, but you know something? I think the reason why you can't find a definition because the term itself is so new. I mean, emotional
Yeah.
intelligence. The way okay, the
At least the way that
way
it's being at least the way that it's being said. Apparently, the 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 term has been around, but it's been around like professional circles. It hasn't been on common use around the larger society. But keep going, keep going.
yeah, I mean, it seems like you're talking about um and when you talk about intelligence, how to deal with one's emotions
Hmm.
in a mature way. I mean, that's how if you were to listen to it, that's how it would sound like.
Hmm. Hmm. But that's the thing, because the first time that I heard it, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. It's not the first time recently, but it's been a little while. When I first heard it, it sounded to me like an oxymoron. So, what is that, an oxymoron? When you have terms that contradict each other. I'm actually going to go on and look up the definition to make sure that I get it right. But it's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't do. it doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna
But
show.
I
I'm gonna.
I
I'm
just
gonna
wanted
share
to
the
say this.
screen really quick. Yes.
I just wanted to say this real quick because the more and more I thought about it, I just wanted to express this thought before you share that screen, Ramon. Take the Jose Alba incident into
Hmm.
consideration. That was an display of lack of emotional EQ because unfortunately for the gentleman that came in there, rest his soul, he drew his emotions off of what his girlfriend told him. You know, which
Hmm.
I've heard the stories of that his girlfriend told him that Mr. Alba disrespected her, which was not the case of her trying to pay for bags of chips and she didn't have the finances to pay for it. So therefore,
Yeah.
he's thinking in the sense of, um, okay, you know, you disrespected my woman, so now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put you in your place, which caused him to go behind the counter. And no matter what Mr. Alba was saying, Papa, I don't want no problems, Papa. It's not resonating in his mind that this man, okay, this man is saying he don't want any issues. Why don't you ask him what's happened? What happened? Or you know, if you're used to going to like Mr. Alba, what's going on, different things like that. Instead, you lunges at him and you attack him based off of emotion and you push him, which caused Mr. Alba to defend himself and
Hmm.
you know, and that's pretty much a lack of emotional EQ.
Yeah, and the thing is, I want to make clear. I want to make clear. Nobody over here, nobody amongst us is happy about what happened when it came to that. I think it is a tragedy. It was a tragedy over a misunderstanding. It was a tragedy over somebody wanting to start mess. Because the one that should be in jail, there is somebody who should be in jail there.
And we
I
know
mean, who is
we
still
know who that
alive.
person is. We know who that
Yeah,
person is that should be in
and
jail.
that person is out and about. From what I understand, that person hasn't been put in jail, hasn't been held accountable for instigating the situation. Somebody lost his life, and the person
And a
most
per and a,
directly responsible,
and
seen to my understanding, is out and about just fine. It is
and
unfortunate.
another example of emotional lack of emotional EQ, the young gentleman that lost his life behind the cold French fries at McDonald's. You
Hmm.
know, the situation where the mom was upset, and I get it. I've been to numerous restaurants where I've gotten into arguments with people, but at the end of the day, it wasn't worth it because I know more than likely it's not worth losing my freedom over it. You know, especially if you ever been to a hood Popeyes, you know what I'm talking about. I done been to hood Popeyes plenty of
Ah,
times, and I done got into situations where I had to leave the drive-through and go in. But that's neither here nor there. But the thing
yeah,
is, if
yeah,
I
yeah,
had
yeah. You mentioned,
escalated,
yeah, yeah. You told me that. You told me that story, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you're trying to get something to eat, and you're having to deal with a very serious situation that could have ended up
mhm,
in tragedy. It could have ended up in
mhm.
loss of life. It's fortunate that
Yeah,
it
it's not
wasn't
now.
like
It's
that.
one thing you curse somebody out. I understand that, but when you take it further, then you're posing a greater risk to losing, to losing something. And it's nothing, and it's nothing worse. Well, for some people that don't have anything to lose, they don't think that far. But
Mhm.
I'd be damned if I make if I handle an issue that's a 2-minute problem that end up costing me 20 years in prison. And just
Exactly.
one day I'll wake up in a Illinois Department of Corrections uniform like, how the hell did I get here? You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
so
worst thing
so,
was
so really quick. When it comes to, I will admit that at first I hear the term emotional intelligence and I think of the word oxymoron. So what is oxymoron? According to Merriam-Webster, it is a combination of contradictory or incongruous words. For example, such as cruel, kindness, like very opposite terms that are not supposed to make any sense. Now, if we look up really quick, when it comes to what you were just saying about the emotional intelligence, there is also EQ when it comes to emotional quotient. Another way to say the intelligence part. From what I gather, generally that this is kind of the definition that I'm finding. It's not like a real definition, but it is said right here. It says emotional intelligence is most often defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's all right. That's all right. Then in other searches that I have done, that's kind of generally what I keep finding. For example, in this website, very well mine, also says something that it sounds very much alike. Emotional intelligence refers to ability to perceive, control, and evaluate emotions. Um, the thing is that that's something that we have to do with the cells, especially us men. That's one of those big differences that we have in between men and women, is that women can be more outspoken when it comes to their emotions, and they can kind of like get a pass about it, and they can maybe rant and scream and shout that maybe cuss somebody out, and they know that nothing is really going to happen to them. But as you know, as you and Jose, anybody who is a man that hears it knows, women, we have to be more on the control of it. I mean, and if there is such a thing, according to these definitions, these general definitions that we're reviewing, then that's something that we very much have to keep in mind. So this is something that uh, we have to keep it in mind. Something that we have to really have the the intelligence part of it. Oh, I see that Rakim lost connection, but I'm gonna make sure that I can drop the link again. I don't know what happened there. Oh, okay, okay. You have to be on your way. You have to do your thing. I see. I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're, it's okay. If you're on the road and if you're not like too out of the city, you can call back in. Don Jose, any thoughts about that?
Yeah. You know, when I think about, it seems to be another thing that the so-called modern woman adapting, and what they don't realize is that you know most men who are regionally intelligent and
Mm-hmm.
reasonably um, you know logical, okay, they will avoid things like this like a bad penny, because we need order. We do not like chaos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we definitely when it comes to the professionals that we look at, that we go to get help from, we cannot afford to go to somebody who's gonna be so unprofessional. I mean, it's just something that, no, that's not an option. That's not an
No.
option, and this is like a horrible example. And I'm not making this. I really don't want to make it about a specific demographic. It's kind of like more of an example of not the kind of not the kind of professional. Somebody who's supposed to be some kind of a professional. That it's just uh, horrible example. It's just unacceptable. It's just not something that should even be considered. So, Tina, come on up. Come on up. Share your thoughts with us. So I'm
Well,
gonna put up. Uh-huh.
yeah. But look, I'm surprised that no one has tried to get her licensing revoked as well, because when therapists, like lawyers doctors, they have they have a code of ethics, and if they violate that code, they can lose their accreditation. So I'm surprised no one has tried to terminate, take away her her whatchamacallit, her accreditation, or her licensing.
Yeah, and from my understanding, yes, she was fired from her position, but she still has her license. And and the thing is that I don't know, maybe there is a process that has to go through some kind of like certification board or something. That would be my guess. But this is like another example of that one really has to take into account who one is putting oneself vulnerable for. Now, let me share the screen really quick.
Long retired from the, and one of my last posts I said I have long retired from the sport of being chosen by men because y'all are dusty as fuck. Y'all ain't like that.
How on earth is this lady a therapist? Even like this.
So she sent me this fine dime piece 99. This motherfucker was suspiciously fine, and you'll find out why. So he was speaking my language. I was really enticed. He was talking to me pretty nice, and I fell for the okie doke. I'm a sucker for a pretty smile. You king. I'm with it. So I proceeded to talk to this motherfucker. Long story short, I was like, "Hey, Boosie, how do I not like violate his shit and scare him away with this bomb? This shit's addictive. It's like crack, and I have to be very careful with who I give it to because I don't want to fucking move anymore, bitch." Man, you don't want to be chose, or you're not trying to be chose. They don't fucking believe you. In one of my last posts, I said I have long retired from the sport of being chosen by men because y'all are dusty as fuck. Y'all ain't like that. First of all, what the fuck I got to lie for? I'm the ripe old age of 28 years old. I think I know what I want and what I don't want. But it's so crazy I had to grow into that because I thought I wanted to be chosen. So I spent so much of my life pretending to be this and trying to be that and doing this for attention and doing that for attention. For what? Dick? Gross.
Well, that wasn't even the worst part. I mean, it was more like what I was showing you in the beginning, but that was more when she was complaining about people having any criticism for what she was saying and referring to men constantly as being dusty. It reminds me of a friend of ours, but she does it with love and she's just playing. But this one means it. When she's saying that men are being dusty and all of that, and this is somebody who men are supposed to be opening up to. Really. I mean, I guess if I ever need therapy, I'm not going to be going to some of these modern women because there are modern women younger than us that get certifications to do therapy, but that might not be the best thing. Like at the beginning of what I was showing you, the whole thing about the emotional intelligence and vocabulary to be able to express one's emotions. But the thing is that because of my previous experience, I'm not too good at like opening up because a man putting himself vulnerable like that, it can be used against you. It can be used against a man, and I need somebody to tell me something different, and that's been my policy because of a previous experience years ago that let me know that as a man, I have to keep it to myself. Or maybe talk to men. That's like the only thing that I can do. I can't. Is something that I don't recommend to younger men. If I ever mention somebody, to be very careful who, as a man, one can make themselves vulnerable to, because it can be used against them. And there are other forums, there are other platforms in which they talk about it, and they pass out that warning, and I second that, and I agree. As a man, you have to be very careful who you make yourself vulnerable to. If it's a woman, and how do you know? How do you know that that's not going to be used against you? It can be it can be very difficult, because expressing and getting emotional and getting upset and crying a little bit here and there, that's okay for women. I mean, I know that I'm sounding very macho and proud and all of that, but it can be frustrating, because that's just something that has to be kept amongst men. That's why it's important for us men to be on the same page on that. So, but if any of the ladies out there, if you're listening, if you think I'm wrong, now's the time. Let me know. Hit the link. Come on up. You think that I'm wrong about it? Hey, talk to me. I want to hear it.
Well, actually, what I plan to do for next month on my platform, I plan to do a two-part series regarding men. The first part is going to be, do society put unfair um, standards or obligations on men? That's the first part.
Mhm.
The second part is, okay, what is a productive, healthy male? Because the fact of the matter is, society has placed so many insane demands what we're supposed to be, and then when we try to seek therapy to address these issues, to come across someone like this female nut job. I mean that's going to encourage people to get therapy.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Man, it can be kind of scary for somebody like myself. Me being a man, it can be a little, it can be a bit scary.
Yeah.
No, and I know that I should be more open to that, to the concept of getting treatment, getting therapy, especially because of what I'm dealing with. But I'm still seeing something like this. It really makes me very cautious about it.
Well, I'm currently undergoing therapy due to my issues.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is, when it comes to a therapist, you do have to share very personal things about your life. But
Exactly, exactly.
but the but the
Yeah.
thing is, there has to be a trust, because if you do not trust your therapist, I mean, it's just not going to work out. The only solution is to seek another therapist. And as I recall, I actually did a stream regarding to get how to get a qualified therapist, and actually had Tim Delgado on my platform to share his knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, right. Yes, yes.
So
But I mean, that's really what I stand on that. And like I was saying earlier, because of a previous experience that really let me know, and that was with a significant other. I opened myself just a little bit, and she was very quickly to turn around and kind of like tell somebody else about it, and seeing as something somewhat funny, and that really learned the lesson on that one. I know that it shouldn't be like that. I know that it shouldn't it shouldn't have to be like that, but yeah, that's what happened. I had to keep it to myself, and I've been having to keep to myself how I feel about things ever since. I had to. I had to protect myself.
yeah, what, it's understandable, but it's just that, unfortunately, um, you have some women they'll use any type of device to hurt a man.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
So now, if any of the ladies want to join, by all means, please join the panel. If you think what we're saying is not correct, I mean, you know, it's now is the opportunity to express yourselves.
Yeah, come on up. Come on up. I mean, I was looking forward to doing this live specifically because I figured that somebody was gonna have an issue with it, and I'm gonna be bringing actually a couple of panelists that I'm seeing that are on the backstage, and
Okay.
we got Gigi. Hey, Golden, what's going on? Oh,
Oops.
okay, we lost it. But we're gonna be bringing someone else that is in the backstage, and we got Extina.
Oh.
Hey,
Hey.
Oh.
hey,
Hey.
chica.
Now I figure out what I need to do to get you to be on my platform. Good evening.
Ah,
Hi. Hold up. Oh man. Of course, as soon as I get on here, what am I at?
Why? How? Why?
take your
Sorry,
time.
guys. Hold on, let me mute myself real quick.
Why?
It's all right.
It's okay. I mean, a mother's work is never done. I mean,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. No, I understand. I understand that. I mean, it never ends, and I don't think anybody who is a mom, Stina or whoever, will want it anywhere on any other way. I really don't think
that's
they will want that.
that is so true. That is so
Mhm.
true. Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's give her a chance for her to to handle her thing with the babies.
They just walked out
And
of my room. Hopefully, they stay out.
hey, so what's going on? I didn't have a chance to ask you how it was when it came to your trip. I haven't caught up with your blogs. I'm sure that it was fun over there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was only there for 2 weeks. You know, for me, that's like a little bit of time. It goes by so fast. But
Oh yeah.
but I spent most of it with like kids and old people, to be honest, because
Ah.
my cousins around my age, they're all over here. Like all the ones I used to hang out with, they're like all in the States now. So I didn't really have anyone over there right now.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's pretty much just with like my parents, like I said, all the kids and some of my older family members. But it was still good though, you know, we still went to a resort, went to a few different places. So it was good.
Okay. Okay. So
Wonderful.
so Stina, what do you think when it comes to the subject? You mentioned something in the chat that you have heard of the term before. What's
Mhm.
your understanding of it? Maybe you can correct us on what our understanding is of it.
Well, yeah, so I've heard people use the term before, and I mean, as far as my understanding of it is, it's like I wrote earlier that emotional intelligence is being able to one kind of control your emotions and being able to effectively communicate your emotions and like not like kind of just operating off of impulse for whatever it is that you're feeling in that moment, like being able to rationalize through whatever it is that you're feeling. At least that again, that's my understanding. I don't know if that's completely correct.
No, but that's the thing because there is not necessarily one correct way to look at it. Let me see if I can share this again because I did find okay, this is kind of like the Wikipedia thing, and it says that emotional intelligence is most often defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotion. But the thing is that it says it's most often defined. It's not something that I don't know if this is something that you can find on a thesaurus or some or on a dictionary. the thing is that the definition can be a little bit up in the air, but this seems to be the one that is more
Or it's the accepted definition.
the more accepted definition. I thought that I had it on screen, but maybe you can see it now.
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
Most of the defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions.
Okay.
People with high emotional intelligence can recognize their own emotions and those of others. So, but when it comes to communicating it, that is something that I am a bit wary of, and that is, as you saw in the video, if you saw the video from the beginning, that the woman going on and on, that you need to develop, you this need to develop emotional intelligence, this and that. And I know when somebody is being slick with the words, and sometimes she might have been saying something about it being about the emotional intelligence, but it did feel, I don't go by feelings like that, but there are exceptions, of course, and it did feel like she was trying to say that we don't have any intelligence at all. And I just know when somebody's being slick with the terms.
Well, that's why I was saying it's ironic. Yeah. She wasn't necessarily displaying emotional intelligence in the way in which she was communicating her emotions. All she was doing was like taking jabs and trying to like belittle the men, and she
exactly.
So
exactly, because that's what I kept getting. Like, it was kind of like using it against men, because men were more quiet when it comes to communicating how we feel, because we kind of have to. We're living in a society when, being men, we have to kind of like keep more to ourselves. Mm-hmm. Women have more freedom to express their emotions and not necessarily be judged by it. Hey, Blood Moon, what's going on? And the thing is that it's more okay for women, but it's not so okay for us men, because if women express too much emotion, then we are being seen as overly sensitive. We are seen as being weak. We are being seen as betas. So there is harsh criticism that comes our way if we do just a little bit of it. Bloodmoon, I'm talking about this infamous young woman who is a therapist, but she's all over TikTok, doing a whole bunch of talking and passing a whole bunch of judgment on how men feel when it comes to things, and how she thinks that we as men, we don't know how to communicate, and
she got fired.
She ended up getting fired because she was going on and doing too much. Let me see if I can go back to one of the videos a little bit.
Well,
let me see.
My question is, why does this person still have a license? I mean, she got fired, but she should also lose her license for unprofessional conduct.
Yeah. She she did mess it up for herself. One can only imagine. And the thing is that she on TikTok, she's getting a lot of support by professional women that think that she didn't do anything wrong. And these are professional women, which is a bit disconcerting.
The fact that she's talking about her clientele online, though, like, I feel like that's some type of like violation.
That's why I said she should lose her license, because there is a confidentiality laws that some people have, like therapists, doctors, and clergymen. So the fact that she's talking about patients' information out in social media, why is this person still have a license for her craft? She should have her license taken away, an example for other people not to do the same thing.
Yeah, Blood Moon. I understand. I understand that she was talking about a particular demographic. I get it, but the thing is that this is like a modern woman on steroids, and that's not something that is limited necessarily to one demographic. I'm talking about how it is. This can be this disrespect towards men, towards manhood. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think that this has to be restricted to one demographic. We're living in the United States. That can affect other other groups or other demographics. It's like the whole thing with the modern feminism. Yeah, I mean that's not something that's relegated to only one group. I mean that's something that can go to other groups, because if you take, say, to when it comes to that whole issue of difficulties between men and women, you can see examples of that happening with white folks too, when more and more white men are choosing not to deal with their own women, and they are also traveling and trying to get together with women of other parts of the world. Only that they have already been doing it a little bit. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do. Okay, Blood Moon. I get it. But we're living here. We're living in the United States, and this has been plastered all over social media. I'm not making this about race. I'm making this about issues of communication between men and women.
Okay.
But I get what you're
Okay.
saying, Blue Moon.
Okay, but again, what gets lost in it is that she's sharing confidential information. Okay, that's a big no-no for a therapist. And again, I know I sound like a broken record. Why does this lady still have a license?
Well, I understand that there should be some kind of a process. I'm sure that this is something that goes through some kind of certification, a certification board that they could evaluate what happened with her. Now, to my understanding, she did get fired, but she didn't lose her license, and that tells you something. When it comes to protection, apparently she's being protected. There has been a consequence when it comes to her job, but losing her license, at least I think that at least it should be suspended, because even though she tends to majority of her demographic, she didn't say that the demographic of her client was 100% black men, so she could be tending to other demographics. So she could be exposing that same mentality to other demographics.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and on that one, you're right. The therapist needs therapy.
Yeah.
My understanding is that some of the best therapists also go to somebody to kind of like help keep their mental sanity, because when it comes to, let's say, psychologists or psychiatrists, they have to tend to patients that are not well mentally, and they have to take all of that in. They have to take all of that in, and eventually the psychiatrists, the psychologists, the counselors, therapists, they can end up crazy as the patients. I mean, like the extreme example. This is just a movie, but the extreme example of that will be somebody like in The Silence of the Lambs. I mean, the main bad guy in The Silence of the Lambs was what? A psychiatrist, a doctor, like a psychiatrist, and he ended up going crazy himself, started killing the patients. So that's an exaggeration. Just an exaggeration. That's fiction. I get it, but there is a little bit of truth to it. That and somebody who is a mental health professional, they also have to talk to other people to keep their minds stable so that they can be of better service to their patients, to their clients. So you guys wanna chime in?
Well, I heard this said before by our friend, but the fact of the matter is, hurt people, and I think it's clear that this lady has been hurt by I don't know what. For her to be all this, salty towards men, and the fact of the matter, it makes it worse that she is a therapist, okay? And the fact of the matter is, like it or not, these people are held to a higher standard. Why? Because they have the training and the licensing to be therapists. So therefore, whenever anyone acts anywhere close to the way that she did, it makes it harder for other people to seek therapy.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, she needs to talk to somebody. I mean, it's very unprofessional, and something that is problematic is there were other women that were supporting that, that were supporting the behavior because they saw things the way she's did, and I get it, blog mom. Maybe she was all over TikTok and making the comments and all of that, but is that really the way to get new clients?
I was
Acting
just about to
like a
say,
hood rat. Yeah.
she was like going about it like, okay, a lot of people say, oh, more men in general need to go to therapy, needs to be more open with their emotions and blah blah blah. But then when they do it, you're going to turn around and then like put them on blast and talk about how they're not
Yes.
emotionally intelligent. Like that's not how you get more men to want to go to therapy. Like she
No.
just messed that whole thing.
There is supposed to be like a confidentiality agreement, like a certain privilege. They are supposed to keep that between themselves because I'm positive that she was doing what you said, Tina. She was putting somebody on blast. Of course, she may not have been saying any names, but she was using what she was being confided on as material for her TikToks.
Yeah.
And no, that's unprofessional. She's in the wrong. That's not defensible.
Mhm.
So, but got our fire. So
Yeah. And when it comes to the whole licensing thing, I hope that at least a suspension when it comes to the license comes along. I mean, because if she's free to keep her license, and then maybe she won't be able to work in an office setting, but maybe she can still use her license to do online consultations and things like that. Like it's like really, she's gonna get rewarded by having online popularity because she has a big following, like over 2 million people or something like that. And that tells you something. That tells you something about what we're dealing with when it comes to the society. And somebody like her, she's not being called out for it. And like, what the hell? I mean, maybe somebody calls her out, but there's gonna be 100,000 people that is gonna beat down on whoever calls her out because she has over 2 million followers on TikTok. So whatever criticism is gonna be drowned out and buried. What you were saying, Stina?
what was I gonna say? Oh, there was like another video where she was basically like kind of encouraging women to be like hoes. Or what, did you see that one?
Oh,
Um,
it's just that there are a few of those. Let me see.
Like she was basically
if
like,
I can
complaining.
find.
Like, oh, okay.
actually,
Like, all right.
Actually,
Mhm.
I came across a story in Texas where there was a worker who worked in children's services was telling a 14-year-old girl to become a 304.
Ah, okay, yeah, that was something else. That was something else because it was somebody who worked in child protective services, and couldn't. She was expressing her opinions to the mom, Now I don't have the all of the context on that, so I can't really make a comment on it. But yeah, that was
To Blood Moon's last comment,
that
where
was
she
so
said
inappropriate.
black men
Okay,
who got
let
women
me
got
go.
fired. But didn't she say in one video that it was a black woman though? I don't know if it was either a black woman
No.
was the one that doxed her, or was a black woman has something to do with her firing. But people
Okay,
like
what happened with that? Yes, what happened with that is that there were black men that were having a problem with what she was saying, and they contacted her job. Well, okay, that's just uh, a taste of her own medicine, because I mean, women do that all the time. Women do that all the time. And what happened is that there was an article that a woman put out, and they were apparently quoting this therapist, and they put her information out, and that's what she was complaining about. And it's like she was complaining about that her information was put out, and then she was like, oh, she wasn't protected, this and that. uh, like really.
uh, like how you
Because she was complaining that she was complaining that she wasn't protected, but at the same time she was talking about she wasn't being protected by the same men that were the Dusties.
that was
Because she was
Okay.
telling that.
to protect her when she was just talking shit about them.
Okay,
Yeah,
but you know what's the problem is, guys. Some people have an issue with accountability. Okay, and when I say, and let me make this particularly clear, I mean people. Okay, so I don't want anyone saying that I'm saying that old women has this problem, but people so some people in general, they cannot take accountability for their actions. They think they can do whatever they say or whatever they want, and then they get caught, then they get surprised and they get upset about being caught.
hmm Okay, let me see if I can bring up the one of the videos. Sorry about that. It's I'm struggle streaming. I know. I'm
Uh,
trying here.
don't feel so bad. Remember, I had a lot of technical difficulties earlier tonight.
Your life can be easier.
Let me see.
Say you need to expand your emotional vocabulary. It's so your life can be easier. Don't you want to be able to communicate with your bitch? I think yes, right? Long gone are the days where you can just shut down. Bitches is not tolerating that. Like, it used to be where men provided financially or with Schmeat, and bitches can make their own self come and we can pay for our own shit. So I'm gonna need y'all to catch up on the emotional part. If a bitch is telling you, I need you to communicate more, open your fucking mouth. But you know what I realized? And let me back up. A common misconception about me as a clinician is that 90% of my clientele have been men, Black men specifically. And what we specifically work on is expanding their emotional vocabulary, because a lot of y'all motherfuckers don't even have the words to express how you're feeling.
Why would anybody go to a therapist and you're calling them an MFer?
Yeah,
Exactly. That's just not helping. I know that she's trying to come across as being smart and all of that, but being a hood rat about it, that's not the way. That's not the way to
Her
do it.
choice of words, like, dang,
Yeah.
you're supposed
No.
to be professional.
Yeah. And the thing is that if she wanted to talk about emotional intelligence and be clear as to what she means with that, because the term is not necessarily that and universally defined, she could have just talked about that. And somebody like myself, I wouldn't have been able to say shit.
Yeah.
I would have kept
Exactly,
her
bro,
mouth shut.
man. Like, does she
Yeah.
not think her employer was going to see that? That, like, she was like stupid on that part. Like, everybody, come on, man. Anybody can find your
Yeah,
face. Like, if you have a professional
and that.
Yeah.
job, like, come on.
Yeah.
Can't be talking
I mean-
reckless social media like that.
See, that is the reason why I don't get into specifics regarding the work I do because I am a municipal employee
Yes.
for the city of New York, and there's certain guidelines that I have to abide by, and certain code of conduct. There's certain things I cannot discuss in social media because if I do that, I could be brought up on charges.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
But
Hopefully, people
know,
will learn from her.
Okay, let me see
uh,
if I got it. Oh, yes.
some people will learn, others won't. I'm afraid.
Well, there are people that are hard-headed like that, so they won't be able to learn so well. But let me see if I can share in my little struggle stream because I have to click on so many things before I can share some imaging. Okay. Let's see if you should be able to hear it. Oh, hello.
This is it. Yeah.
About the black man that thoroughly frustrates me. I want to get something off my chest about the black man that thoroughly frustrates me. Can I do it? I'm gonna fucking do it anyway. You know, my favorite flavor of ice cream is hardworking black man, but I can't seem to find that flavor in the store no more. And I'm trying to figure out what the fuck, why. In my experience, specifically when it comes to dating, black men just off top want bitches to submit, but provide nothing to submit to. Nowadays, y'all don't even have the education or credentials to be talking to a bitch, especially out the side of your neck. I found that in a lot of intimate.
Stop.
Okay. Let me bring it forward because there is commentary from the content creator. So let me see if I can bring it forward because there are a couple of photos when she's complaining about getting fired. Let me see if I can get it to play.
Mother of somebody's children? No, it's not cool. So she started taking herself out of the room and to the brothel and picked something up. So anyway.
And somebody doxed her and reported her to her employer, and she got fired. And it was a black woman that did it. And this is the video that she made.
It's your friendly neighborhood therapist who thought she could save these hoes, but got her job terminated as a result. Story time? I think yes. Shit you not, I posted a video on Monday telling men that their dusty behavior is only harming them and that they would benefit from emotional intelligence. And I shit you not, by Friday, didn't have employment. All of this started with a Psychology Today article stating that men are lonelier than ever because they have no fucking emotional skills. And I agreed and doubled down and told y'all that y'all lives would radically improve if you expanded the shit that came out your mouth. But instead of healing, y'all will do anything but that. Instead of being accountable, like, hey, this bitch see me, stirred a little bit, y'all got so hurt that you contacted Massa. Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what it was. That's not what it was.
She's saying Massa, but you work for Massa.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, she went on to be a victim.
Oh
I mean, they just didn't want it to be held accountable. So that's what it was about. Fair use. That was the reel with Dana. You can check out her content. I mean, I'm not stealing anything. I don't own the video clips that have been shown. They're being used under fair use.
You guys, I'll be right back. My dog is over here whining at me to take him out real quick.
Yeah.
It was not the kids, it's the dog. I'll be right back.
Okay. Sure. So, but the thing is that it's kind of like confidentiality sensitive. What she does, and she should have known better than to go on rants like that. And again, I'm not making this about race. I'm not making this even about a cultural thing. I'm making this about us being part of a society. This is the North American society, and because a lot of these professionals, they go to school, they go to college, and they have to deal with some of the radical feminism that teaches them that just because they're women, they're already victims. and they look down on men. That goes beyond demographics. That goes beyond demographics. That goes beyond cultures. It goes beyond the myth. It goes into the myth of the sisterhood, which I don't believe there is. There is really no such thing. For certain things, women can get together and they can unite to reach and achieve certain goals. I get it. But when it comes to other things, women can be very competitive with each other, and there is no real sisterhood. And when it comes to united and going against men like that and trying to see men as the enemy, they are only hurting themselves. They're only hurting themselves. They're not doing themselves any favors.
I agree, but unfortunately, some habits die hard.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I want to be very clear that this isn't about demographics. Now, something that when it comes to men communicating, something that she was saying about the men should be able to open up when it comes to the vocabulary, but it's difficult for a man to open up to a hostile environment. It does the very opposite. If only one can only close up more, because one has to protect oneself.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%. But unfortunately, we're living in a time where some women cannot accept accountability for their actions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah. But I had to, because I did see something about another therapist, and maybe that's something that could be continued on another stream, who had another therapist who was of a different race, who was like also very unprofessional when it came to practicing, to doing her job and all of that. So I'm not gonna get into that one now. But yeah, there is really not much else that I can say. But the whole thing, emotional intelligence, I agree. We should be able to communicate it. But in the society, when it comes to the reality of things, it's not like really for us men. It's not safe. I don't think it's safe for us men to communicate it. Maybe going to a male therapist, somebody who is a man and actually is professional and actually respects the whole thing, the provider patient confidentiality, because that's supposed to be by law. I mean, I get it. She wasn't mentioning names, but I'm sure that she was talking about somebody that confided in her. And that's what I have a problem with, because there is a breach of trust. There is a breach of trust. There is and that's something that I personally will take very seriously. I have very few friends in this world, and it's because of that. It's hard for me to trust, and you're supposed to build that trust with somebody who is a professional, and they maybe not mentioning your name, but they're airing all of your shit. I mean, I can't do it. Couldn't do it.
well, the fact of the matter is, unfortunately, we have to be very careful who we select as our friends, because if we're not careful, any one of them can, use whatever information in setting confidence to hurt us, or to take advantage of us. I mean, that's how things are today, and I'm just learning that within the last few months, The fact of the matter is, there's some people you just cannot confide with.
Yeah. So
But
and I'm sure that when it comes to visiting therapists, I know that you have been talking to a therapist. Aside from Tim, have you been kind of like getting treatment from different health professionals, mental health professionals?
I'm seeing a therapist on a regular basis due to issues. Some of them I did share um, with you in private. So I do believe there's a place for therapy. It's just that you have to, just like you have to vet a physician, you have to properly vet a therapist and make sure that the therapist is someone that you can trust, that's going to help you to deal with whatever issues or trauma that you're going through. If your therapist is not able to do that, then you need to stop seeing that therapist and try a different therapist.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So, but in any case, this has been a very interesting topic.
No, it's just that I was kind of having that in the back of my mind, because I figured that there was just a question. I'm just asking a question. I mean, I'm not pretending to know anything. It's just that
I'm back.
Hey, everything all right over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, anything else? Anything else that you think that you could chime in when it comes to the subject, Tina?
The emotional intelligence?
Yeah. No, we can talk about something else after that. We can touch on something else.
Well, I mean, I think if people are going to talk about it, maybe they should focus a little more on how they feel people can improve their emotional intelligence, like actually solutions or things that people can do. Hold on, I think it's Dr. Hold on.
Yeah.
Well, a mother does require a great deal of patience dealing with her children and dealing with a dog, which is sometimes it's treated like a child.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's an extension of the family. Absolutely. They need attention too. They need to be played with too. They need to be tended to too.
But recently, I did a stream on my platform regarding feminism, and what I did was I tried to share with the audience what was the original intention of feminism was equal rights, because at one time women could not vote, women could not own property, women could not discipline their children, women was actually the physical property of the husband, and if he wanted to get busy, she had no choice but to comply. And then in time, how you have different versions of feminism that emerge. So some areas where women was not trying to gain equality but supremacy. And actually, one YouTube creator got very upset with me because this individual has an issue where if a woman disagrees with him, she's either a feminist or a lesbian.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There is a there is a certain somebody who follows Jose, and he seems to be having these issues with women, and like whatever. I mean, those persons don't really matter, and if they want to be difficult like that, they can get themselves blocked. That's the only thing to do with them. I mean, you can't reason with them. There are certain insecurities that they are dealing with. Now, feminism itself, it does somewhat tie in with the subject anyway, but more kind of like the more radical, kind of like the more extremes, because that I believe that is like extreme or toxic feminism. I mean, not femininity. I don't think I don't think that there is such a thing as like toxic femininity, because I will need somebody to. I don't believe in that, but toxic feminism, yeah, I do believe that there is that, because if you look up the radicals, the radical feminism, those are the ones that have this belief that that the world will be better off if we are killed off, we men, meaning men, if we were killed off, that the world would be better off, which is not true. It's not true. I mean, society will collapse. Society will collapse because there are many things that keep society going. That it has to do with hard work of men that women. You're going to be hard pressed to find women that will do it. Can they do it? They could. Do they want to? Hell no. There is a difference. That's what I'm talking about. That's the difference. I mean, and I know that there are certain women that will hear this and they will get offended by it, but they know deep down that what I'm saying is correct. I'm just not being so politically correct right now. But it's not with hate at all.
Well, to address what Blood Moon question, okay, there is a person called Hybrid Vigor who is a member of the who appear in what's called the Golden Sphere. I mean, this is I'm sorry?
No, I was gonna say I know that person. They used to comment on my channel before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, but he got upset that I was talking about feminism and talking about how the men are going to react angry towards me and what have you, and I should postpone the topic. First of all, I decide what gets discussed on my platform. Okay? If I wanted to have a platform with only women on it to discuss feminism, it's my right, and it's my and I can do whatever. No, actually, he's Canadian.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, Canadian.
Yes, he's Canadian, and in fact, he has argued with multiple women on different platforms. Okay, and there's been accusations of sexual harassment made against him.
Oh wow.
Hey, Morena, what's going on?
I thought he was Hispanic. Because everything he was always commenting on, like videos about like Hispanic stuff. So I just assumed hybrid.
No,
he's like mixed.
No,
he's Canadian.
He's
white
Canadian. Yes, he's Canadian. I mean, yeah, he's Canadian.
No.
Oh, I see. Well, what do you know? Hey, Fulana, what's going on? What's up, chica? Good to see you guys.
Hey, Morena.
Hey, Morena, mommy.
Hey, Morena.
Yeah. I just dropped the link. Hit the link. Come on up.
So just picture this. Here is a man talking about feminism, and then you actually had 4 women on the platform talking about the same thing. So that was like, so he had a total meltdown, which I don't care.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, yes. Who are we talking about? Yeah. Somebody that doesn't matter. The guy considers himself to be part of the Golden Sphere, but it was somebody who was trying to troll Don Jose. So it doesn't matter. He was trying to talk about feminism, and this guy had a problem with it. Eventually, you might hear from him, and Christina already knows about him. So I'm gonna add somebody to the panel. Rakim, what's going on?
Hey,
You on the road,
Rakim.
right?
What's going
Yeah.
on, guys? Yeah, it's the return to Rakim Part 2.
That's
So,
right. That's right.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead,
No, I
Jose.
just want to address the question. What is the golden spirit? The golden spirit, it's referring to a group of people who are biracial, who are biracial and mixed people, mainly like light-skinned biracial people. So that's what the golden spirit is.
Yeah, it's about biracial Americans, biracial North Americans. They are trying to kind of like start their own thing when it comes to them having their own identity. I mean, and that's something that I totally support. They have they have their own point of view when it comes to being biracial, and maybe the difficulties that come with it that they have had to deal with, and they're having their own spaces so they can express how they feel and they can chat amongst one another. But Rakim, you were saying something?
Oh yeah, like as far as this so-called therapist goes,
Mm-hmm.
the way that she set up there and said that black men need therapy in such a condescending way to talk down and disrespect people, and you had to and you're supposed to be a therapist, yet you lack the intelligence of doing something like this on TikTok and how it can jeopardize your career. And I think
Mm-hmm.
she should suffer the consequences for that. And I think it's about time that a lot of black men start speaking up about people who just want to publicly drag and just drag us and speak down to us. It's like when they don't do that to any other group. They don't do that to
Mm-hmm.
any other group, and I think it's about time that a lot of people need to start suffering the consequences for that. It needs
No,
to
no.
be
Uh-huh.
it needs to be pushed back. I think it's been a lot of slap boxing with kitty gloves, and that
Yeah.
it needs to go. It needs to go to real boxing with no gloves for some of these people.
No, definitely, and something that Jose was asking a couple of times, because the person apparently still has her license to be a therapist, even though she's fired. But that's something that I guess it has to go through a certification board to determine what they're gonna do. Is they're gonna be pulling they're gonna be pulling her license, or her being able to keep practicing when it comes to that. And Tina, is there anything that you want to add? I mean, because this is a bit of a rarity, being able to see you. Oh, maybe she has to step away.
Sorry. No, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, it is. I know. Y'all know I don't really be joining panels like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to add? Not as far as like the therapist and the emotional intelligence thing. I mean the feminism stuff. Well, the therapist definitely comes off to me as a feminist.
Oh yeah, a radical, I might add.
I don't want to necessarily identify as a feminist. I think what is feminism today is not the same as what feminism originally was and what it initially set out to do. I think those things were already accomplished, but it just turned into like at least with the extreme ones, it's like a man bashing cult. So I don't know
Yes.
that. So
yeah, we'll have to agree with that, because I mean, like I was mentioning before, one thing is feminism, one thing is wanting to have equal rights, equal protection under the law, which I don't have a problem with. But another thing is like this third wave of kind of like the more extreme, the more radical feminists that actually think that the world would be better off if men are killed off, and the hashtag kill all men. I think on Twitter there is an actual hashtag that is no, I'm not making that up.
I know.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's on
you
Twitter.
Get a man without telling me you can't get a man, like basically.
Yeah. Somebody who wants a man killed is because they can't possibly get one, so they have a problem. Yeah. They're female incels. Mm-hmm. That's how
And
I would
well,
look
you know
at it.
what? It's not that they can't get a man. It's just they can't get a man that's in their ideal fantasy. You see what I'm saying? A lot of women, they may want this ideal man that they see in the magazines or that they seen in their favorite show, and without even trying to do any type of self improvement, they just they've watched multiple Instagram accounts, they've watched multiple content creators, which we all know. Everyone on this panel tries to be as genuine as they possibly can, and we all know that it's a lot of liars, it's a lot of gaslighters, and it's a lot of manipulative people in a lot of these YouTube spaces that lie, manipulate, and gaslight for profit. We know that, and for some of these people, they're not. Fuck it, man. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. They're not that intelligent to be able to identify or chew the meat and spit out the bones. A lot of people just go for what people say on surface level just because they're able to articulate themselves or make what they say sound good. They don't do the proper research, and then before they know, they end up in kind of like a YouTube media brainwashing where they start believing a lot of this stuff, and they want to believe it because of low self-esteem issues. It's easier to blame your issues on other people than actually try to address it yourself. And for a lot of these women that are, especially the anti-black male hating misandrist type of women, you would think if that was the case, okay, prove us wrong. You should be able to go get any other men. Black men are not tripping off women dating other women. I mean, dating other men from other groups and everything. You should be able to do that. Mm-hmm. If black men was really the problem, the way that you say they are, because, and I'm not saying this to be biased because I'm a black man. From what I've seen, black men are some of the most laid back dudes that you can think of. We ain't tripping. As long as you show us some respect, and we gonna show you respect, we gonna deal with whatever relationship issues we have. I'm talking about productive black men, not the type of black men that they try to use as a minority and project that to be the majority. I'm talking about most hardworking black men that's just trying to make sure that their finances are in order and make sure that they're able to provide for their families. Some of the most laid back dudes that you can think of, man. And if that was the case, these women, it'll be other men, whether it be Latin men, whether it be Asian men, whether it be white men. It'll be men lining up around the corner for somebody that's as lovely as some of these ladies are. But they ain't. And you see that a lot of the times it's a lot of men that are responding because of the vitriol and the hatred that they've just been dragging us online. And this is just not a black man thing. Of course, this is widespread because it's a lot of people that's being influenced by a lot of this misandry. They done turned it up a few notches over here on YouTube. And then it's a lot of gaslighting and projecting. The first thing out of their mouths, well, no, y'all do it too. Well, if it wasn't for Tommy Sotomayor, this has been going on way before Tommy Sotomayor.
Oh boy. Oh, that's a name. Yeah, that's a name that I haven't heard in a while because I mean,
just lies, man. People just can't keep it real to save their life. If it would cost them their life to be dishonest, it'll be a lot of people that won't be here right now. Because people just lie, and project, lie, and project. They can't even find a shred of truth in anything. And shout out to Fulana, because I see Fulana on the chat. Shout out to Fulana Morena and Blood Moon. So, but yeah, man, you know what it is.
Okay. So, Blood Moon? Don't mention that name here.
Blood Moon, you be cracking me up, boy. I tell you, Blood Moon be having me rolling. Gonna say some stuff. You gonna have to come better than that, Blood Moon.
Blood Moon, I just want to let you know the other time that you was on my platform, I didn't block you, and then I requested have you unblocked. So I just want you to understand that.
No. I'm not gonna block anybody. Just don't be disrespectful. I won't have to block you here because I don't want to have to do that. I want to be able to let people being able to express themselves. If you're gonna be typing something in the chat and maybe a little trolling, that's fine. But don't let's not get
Hey, Ramon, I'm gonna tell
overdo
you
it, get
about.
disrespectful with it. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna tell you something that was funny. I was watching this one YouTube, this content creator, when he's talking about Cynthia G, because Blood Moon had brought up Cynthia G. He was like,
Mhm.
Cynthia G hopped in her Saturn and drove across the country to meet up with Dusty Robert Perkins. He was like, this dude dressed like a teenager. He dressed like a young dude that was 22 in 2005. It's like he's stuck in 2005, which is true. And this dude had already had multiple children by different women, and this is the
No,
guy that you chose to have a child with.
yeah,
And
everything is pointed out. She got put on blast by Woman Sphere. I mean, she outed all of that. I mean, because those two were cool. They were close to with each other. And as much as a feminist that Woman Sphere seems to be, I mean, she wasn't cool with the whole deleting the baby thing. The whole thing about deleting babies. I don't want to say the other word for it, but she wasn't cool with that. I mean, you can check out her content, and she made a couple of whole live streams putting Cynthia G on blast. I mean, and I was already not really listening to her anymore because there was a time where I would listen, but that was for the information. It wasn't even about a race for me. But there was one instance in a live stream where she was actually talking about some of you guys' friends, Chivo. She was actually talking about him, but then she went into calling us Hispanics as confused mutts, something like that, and that's when I started to kind of like get away from what she was doing. And then after that, she started with the whole thing about making basically the same video over and over again, talking shit about black men, but it was like the same video over and over again, and criticizing the athletes and the entertainers for their dating choices, and then talking shit about the late Kevin Samuels, and implying that he was gay and something like that, and things like that. That wasn't.
And what's
wasn't
funny?
even proven. Yeah.
You know what's funny? The dynamic is, like the guys that's if whatever you say to critique some of these people on YouTube. First off, you Dusty. Kevin Samuels came correct. Man had well manicured hands. Well, cologne. I got my cologne.
He was groomed. He was groomed, and he was a metrosexual, and
exactly.
Certain folks took it as him being gay. So
and the funny thing is, they use that as an insult while hanging out with gay people and pushing for the LGBT community. But hey, what can you say, right? It's just like a lot of people was just like and as far as the Woman Sphere goes, let's just keep it a buck. She did a lot of the bashing black men is the hustle on YouTube. That's the hustle on YouTube because like my uncle used to tell me, ain't nobody gotta like his man because we always been hated. You know what I'm saying? So bashing black men is the hustle on YouTube. That a lot of these women have switched their rhetoric after the algorithm on YouTube changed, where they was able to get more money for views rather than subscribers. And that's how they built their platforms. From the Chrissies, from the Paris Milans, to all of these women was pro-black. And you mean to tell me that a couple years of being on YouTube made you completely turn your rhetoric around and go against half of the people, half of the men in your group? That's like people ain't got people don't have no shame, man. People ain't got no shame. And like a lot of these people, and Chrissy was the only one of the people that did it smart because she remained faceless, and now she knows it's a good thing that she made that step. Some of these other people came on YouTube early before they switched their rhetoric, so they already showed their face and their name. So now they got to continue to go on with this because if they try to get regular jobs, people are gonna look up like, "Yo, what's up?"
No, they have to keep the hustle. They have to keep the hustle up. There is no choice. There is no other choice for them. I mean, and true, I agree with you. I agree with you when it comes to Chrissy. She kept her identity. She's like strict with it, like somebody like Chrissy and Jessica X. I mean, I'll give her credit because she's been very strict. She has shown pictures, but it's not the same as actually being on camera, on a video camera.
But you see the opposite dynamic of that, right? Because as much as all of these people then did all of this anti-male bashing and black male bashing, men ain't been going out their way to try to expose these people or dox these people. But when you look at someone like Jessica X, who spoke on the behalf of men, especially black men, it was numerous times that people attempted to dox this woman.
Yeah, and they kept failing. They will dox the wrong person, and they will mess up. Yeah,
so it's like people. Boy, I tell you, man, people are sick. These YouTube streets is streets for real, because people you have all of these people with all of their unresolved traumas and all of their woes being able to have a voice, and ignorant people gonna gravitate towards ignorant bullshit. Point blank.
Yeah.
If you're a rationalized person, you're gonna be able, even if it's something that I don't like, I can rationalize and be able to take myself out of that, and being able to put myself in another person's shoes, or being able to see a different perspective on things. Most people can't do that. That's why most people can still easily get manipulated. People can still get lied to, and they can still get taken advantage of. And that's what you see. And some people want to be taken advantage of. Some people like to be lied to.
Yeah.
That's why you have people.
Because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel good. And it's not a race thing. You can just look. This has been going on for quite some time. Even if you look at the political world, let's take poor white people that live in the Appalachians, that suffer from opioid abuse, suffer from meth abuse, and everything. Oh, the whole thing with the fentanyl. The whole thing with the fentanyl. Oh, the morgues in different parts of the country, they are getting stuffed in. They're getting all full. The morgues. And all the people that are using fentanyl and dying from it, it's a problem. It's an emergency. It's a crisis. All the people, the bodies are piling up from all the fentanyl death, and that's usually people that are in the Midwest and people that are more in rural areas. That that's not people like us. I mean, we are more in the urban areas.
Oh yeah, I call it that Fenny-Any, man. I call it that Fenny-Any. That's the salt and pepper of dope right now. They sprinkling that on everything. I'm like, damn, if heroin wasn't bad enough, now y'all got fake heroin. But and you have these same group of people that know that they are poor, that know that, but they constantly vote against their own economic best interest by voting Republican. And a lot of the Republicans haven't done much for a lot of these groups of people. Not saying that the Democrats would do anything, but they barely even question, their situation not improving. They're just happy with their Ford F-50 pickup, toss my AR-15 in the back, throw on my American flag dad cap, get me a Bud Light, and I'm all right with that. And I'm going to keep voting for a person that's a yuppie that's wearing a three-piece suit that's making decisions based off my life in the Empire State Building in New York City.
They're gonna tell them what they wanna hear. They're gonna tell how the reason that they are in poverty is because of another group that is taking something from them to make them mad and angry. But Blood Moon is asking, what you were saying about the Appalachian people?
Oh, I was just saying, Blood Moon. That's pretty much the white ghetto, and those people. They listen to what people tell them to want to hear to be able to get their votes and get their donations. Only thing, it's kind of like that. With them living in poverty, of course, you have since they coined the term black on black crime, you got a lot of white on white crime. Opioid abuse, fentanyl abuse, meth abuse. Have anybody ever picked up a busted magazine at the gas station and seen the pictures of people before and after meth? Man,
I remember that there was there was kind of like a little periodical that I saw back when I was living in Mississippi that will show you all of the mugshots and all of the people that were getting arrested, and they were making that comparison because they will put different mugshots from all the different times that they were getting arrested, and they were looking worse and worse and worse because of their addictions. And they were looking really busted, and they weren't really that old, but they were looking hella old because that that meth is
Yeah,
really something. It's
Ooh.
one hell of a drug.
that
But
meth have them looking like the
let's,
crypt keeper.
yeah,
Remember the crypt keeper
almost.
from Tales from the Crypt?
Almost. But let's give a chance to Xtina and Don Jose. You guys, is there anything that you want to chime in with? Xtina, Jose?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. But one thing we have to make it perfectly clear that not all female feminists, therapists, are like this person. I mean, I'm sure there are some very competent, caring female therapists out there.
Yeah, one
But-
has to bet. One has to really bet when it comes to that. But yes, continue.
But what needs to be done is some of these female therapists must also speak up as well. First of all, in defense of their own profession, number one, and number two, people should be encouraged to seek therapy, but by people who are actually capable and actually are mentally well.
Mm-hmm. Right. Hey, Tina, you want to chime in? I don't know if she can hear me.
Well, she's
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. I had to go to the
Oh,
bathroom.
okay.
I didn't hear like the last 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, there were Hakim and I were making a little commentary when it comes to certain folks in different parts of the country that maybe they're supposed to be.
Oh, sleeping yet? Not yet.
Not yet, Xtina. Come on, it's early. It's early.
It's only on my streams I be falling asleep.
Oh, I would
Okay.
expect that from our friend Jose, but not from you. I'm kidding, Jose. I'm playing.
It sounds like you've been hanging out with a particular person that we know very well.
I wouldn't know who you are talking about. I wouldn't know. No, but what we were talking about for a moment, Rakim and I, was when it comes to the population of certain people in, say, like the Midwest or in certain rural areas where they're dropping dead because of all of the fentanyl poisonings, and I've been reading recently that in certain parts of the country the morgues are stuffed with bodies of people that are dying from the fentanyl problem because it's so potent and just a little bit. It's just a little bit. It only takes a little bit that contacts the skin, and people are dropping dead because of it. I mean, it was like.
Also,
but
what was it, like handkerchiefs or something, like putting it on objects and then putting them on people's cars, or am I thinking of something else?
I saw a little something about that, and that we'll put like a piece of tissue on the handle of a car door, and you have to be careful not to touch that because that might have fentanyl or something very potent that could knock you out, and then you will be vulnerable and get kidnapped and some bullshit. Like it's getting crazy out there. It's getting crazy. Keep your heads on a swivel wherever you go. And if you can have some kind of protection on you, keep it on you. I always keep mine on me. And I recommend. I know that you guys are in different parts of the country, so you are in different states, so the laws apply differently. But as much as you can protect yourself, do it. Keep your head on a swivel wherever you go. When you go to your car, you see something on your car that shouldn't be there, don't touch it directly. If there is any way that you can knock it off of it by using like a pen or something disposable that you can throw it away, don't have to touch the thing directly. Or maybe there was another video that I saw that they might put kind of like a zip tie on the handle of your car to distract you long enough for somebody to come up behind you and and try to kidnap you or something. It's getting stupid. They're getting stupid with it, getting crazy out there. I mean, I don't know. It's particularly you, Stina. You want to be very careful. You're a head of a household, and you are by yourself, and you could be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that you can't take care of yourself, but it's for obvious reasons that I say that. Mhm.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
So, anything, something else that you wanted to say, Jose?
No, not really, except for one thing. Christina, do you know when's the next time you're going to be visiting New York?
I don't know. I was supposed to go this summer, but I didn't make it up there. And now, my kids are back because my kids were in DR for 2 months. So I was supposed to go while they were in DR, but I didn't. And now they're back, but my parents are still over there, so I don't have anyone to watch them. So I really don't know. I don't know if maybe I could maybe try planning a fall trip, depending on when my parents come back. So, they can stay with my kids. But yeah, I don't know.
I definitely.
Why don't you come into Texas?
That's another trip I've been wanting to make too. I was supposed to go to Texas, but man.
Yeah, you have to come to Dallas specifically.
Dallas?
Well,
I thought most of y'all were supposed to be Houston. Or who's
that's what I meant. I'm not the only one. I think it's Sundown. He's somewhere in Dallas, I believe, in North Texas. Yeah, that's where we are at. Mm-hmm.
Well,
so that's another trip that you need to make. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Christina, if you ever come to New York, if you want, I can show you around where I live in Parkchester, and just to show you, my home, because everyone had heard me talking about Parkchester.
I know. Yeah, I saw that you met up with Don Armando.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I saw his pictures.
Yes,
that was cool.
I also met up with him when I was in Philly.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Well, I definitely want to make New York one of my trips to go visit too. I've been a big hip hop fan forever, so I definitely wanted to visit Harlem, wanted to visit Brooklyn. I definitely got to go to Queens. All my favorite rappers from Queens, so definitely New York would definitely be a trip I have to make.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mainly stay in Manhattan, so I want to visit some of the other boroughs a little more.
Yeah. Wow.
Eventually, I would like to. I would like to visit, but it's just that there is always something, and the rats up there are kind of scary. I mean,
okay.
Rats up there.
Okay, thank you. You see, we don't have a serious rat problem. We have a slight mousy problem.
Jose, what did I just say about people being dishonest, intellectually dishonest?
Areas of the city, I don't know, but I mean, at least in Washington Heights, like up there, I didn't see, or at least I don't remember seeing rats like that.
Y'all got rats in New York walking around with black hoodies, scullies, and bats, man.
Oh my god.
Well, actually, in Parkchester, what you see a lot is squirrels. You don't see rats. You see squirrels.
Okay, I guess it just depends. It depends on the area, but I know we've seen some terrifying. Like if anybody remember that episode of Martin when he was on vacation and he fought that puppy dog. It wasn't really a puppy dog, but it was.
I think I saw that, but it's been years. That was back in the day.
That's what y'all rats. That's what y'all rats
was some funny shit.
Parkchester, that's Manhattan. Jose?
What?
Parkchester, that's Manhattan.
No, that's in the Bronx.
Oh, in the Bronx. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I was born and raised in Manhattan. It's just that 5 years ago, I moved to the Bronx and I bought a condo.
Okay.
What part of the Manhattan you was raised in, Jose? Was it the Lower East Side?
No, East Harlem, otherwise known
East
as El
Harlem.
Barrio.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to you have to be careful with the rats over there. They'll steal your pizza.
Okay. Look, I'll admit, in some areas of the city, there is a mouse. There is a mouse problem. Okay, but
The rat.
oh,
That's
right,
that's
it
that's
was probably
classic.
not. It was probably not even in. I mean, it wasn't even
It
in
was
New
it was
York. It's
probably
probably
what?
somewhere like in Jersey.
When he got home, he
It probably
posted
wasn't
the
even
cell
in New
phone
York.
video. 12 hours later, it was trending worldwide on Twitter under hashtag Pizza Rat.
There's no news on the rat's whereabouts, but the slice of pizza has been found.
No. I mean, there's something else. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to find that right now, but I remember another video of a big ass rat. It was the size of a possum that a lady had to grab it by the rat and toss it out of the restaurant. But that shit was big. It was the size of a possum. I've seen possums. Those are scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those possums. And see, I done ran across a couple possums in my day, and those things are the worst. Because
Yeah,
it's,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
like a
no, and the thing is that I have heard in the South that they eat them. I don't know how can they do that, but
yeah, they do. They do. In the
yeah,
South, they eat possums and they eat raccoons. Me personally.
raccoons.
Yeah, they eat
Oh,
raccoons too. They do. They do.
aren't they like full of rabies
Right, I was just
and
thinking that.
disease?
It depends on the area. In the north, they are, but from what I've heard down south, being in the wilderness, they're not. But in the north, I don't know what is it about the north that makes them get rabies if they're going through different areas or whatever. But up here, but I've heard people from the south say, "Oh, that's good eating." I'm like, "Nah, y'all can keep that."
Good eating.
Yeah, y'all can keep that. I'm straight.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
straight on raccoon and possum.
Maybe that's where they came up with the term ratatouille.
Ratatouille. Yeah. That's the movie. That nah.
I remember.
I
I
don't think.
remember. It was late at night one time, and I was going to go empty some garbage, and the way that our buildings was, it was brick buildings, but in the backyards in particular, it's made out of like the steps are made out of wood and the banister is made out of wood. So I'm going down there. It's in the middle of winter time. I'm going down there to go empty the garbage because I'm all the way on the third floor. As I was going, I saw something creeping up the stairs, like doo doo, and I jumped and I dropped the garbage and I looked and it was a possum. Man, I left that garbage right there outside. I'm like, man, I'll get up with that a little later. I ain't trying to take that risk.
No, and the thing is that there is nothing new to that because I remember years ago, my mom was rest in peace, and she was talking about when she lived in New York, and she will be staying in an apartment, and she will hear all the thudding and the thumping in between coming from the walls, and and she was telling me that was the rats because in between the floors there is a space, there is the kind of like the floor. And there is a space between the floor and the ceiling from in between apartments. There is a space in between, and the rats will be running all over and making noise. And she remembered that. I mean, that's one of the reasons why she didn't like she didn't like New York because it's not like in the island. Things are built more solid. I mean, you don't hear those noises. Not everything is made of wood like that. And yeah. Ugh. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I know it had to be a big culture shock coming from the islands here to the States and dealing with something like that.
Yeah. Well, maybe more for grandma because she was already an adult when she moved there. I mean, mom was a little kid, so they adapt easier.
Well, I'm happy news. I'm just waiting for my lady to get her visa, so therefore she'll be able to come up to New York to visit me.
Okay. Well, she should have been there a long time ago.
I know, but
Yes.
I know. Now, I would prefer that she not come up in the wintertime, but she did no. She wanted
No,
it
no, 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 not in the winter time.
winter.
Don't do that to her. Don't do that to her. Not in the winter time.
I mean, come on, it doesn't get that cold in New York in the wintertime.
Yeah, Arctic temperatures, not cold, really. We're
30,
not
no,
getting into that again.
20 degrees. It's not Arctic.
Yes, it is.
It's
Almost. It's
spring.
almost there.
No.
Almost there. Almost there. Almost there.
It's spring like.
No. Stop it. Stop. Don't start with that. I mean, nah. Yeah. I know something about that. I mean, I'm waiting for certain somebody in my life to come and see me. I'm not getting too much into that, but eventually, those that I have a little more that I have more trust with, they're gonna know. They're gonna know. I'm gonna let them know. Let's see. Christina, it got boring. Bloodman, you're saying that we're boring? You're saying that we're boring? That's already. No one is forcing you to stay up there. Come on.
Blood Moon
Oh
want
my!
those Blood Moon
Yeah,
You
want
yeah,
know,
yeah.
those VH1 love and hip hop streams.
Yeah. She wants us to be yelling at each other, cussing each other out because that's entertaining for her. Okay, I get it, Blood Moon. We don't do that here.
I mean, to each one's own. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, that's all I can say. But
Yeah.
But I got to get
but
ready
get
to
it.
go, fellas. Got to get to work and everything. Thanks for once again for letting me up on your platform, Ramon. Shout out to you. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Tina. And shout out to the chat. I got to bounce.
Do your
Thank
thing.
you.
Do your thing. Take it easy out there. Appreciate you coming up.
Yes, be safe out there.
All right. Thanks a lot, fellas. Y'all take it easy.
All
You
right.
too.
Have a good one.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So, hey, Tina, you're not asleep, right?
No, I'm still up. Sorry, I had to walk away again. Sorry.
Uh,
Yeah, it's you know what a mother's job is never done. So
One of them is asleep already, but the other one is still awake. She keeps trying to.
está dando candela todavía. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if there isn't anything else that you have in mind, because at this time it's a little more open. So if there is anything that you wanted to share, that you want to talk about, then that's fine too. But if not, I guess I could start getting ready to close up.
Well, I'm happy to say that so this year I actually gained 100 subs. So right now I have 139.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to put in more work so I can get more subscribers because I'm gaining almost nothing. Blood Moon says, if you want more viewers, you may need to get Ratchet something. I know. No, I get what you're saying. I know that the Ratchetness brings the views, brings the people into the bullshit. I get it. It's just that's really not my thing. It's really not my thing. I mean, like having a little fun with it and all, but getting into arguments. Something that I decided not to do a long time ago is not to argue with people. Eventually, yeah.
Being consistent and getting on other people's channels, I think, is what will get you more subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
yeah.
know this, Jose, you're really good with that. You network everywhere, like you be everywhere on everybody's channels.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
everywhere. So bring people back to your channel that way.
Yeah, he's pretty good with that. Gotta give him
And
that.
not only that, I talk with my coworkers about my channel as well. In fact, so and actually got a couple of them that did subscribe to my channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you have to be. I look at it this way: you have to be very proactive.
You definitely.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. I get it. Fulana La Cubana, is your channel by the same name, or do you go by a different name so I can look it up? Let me know in the chat.
Okay, I don't.
Well, Fulana, you got actual content on there though, because you can subscribe to people, but they don't necessarily have content.
Right. Just wanted to check it out if Fulana doesn't have anything there. Well, I get it, but
in all fairness, you need to devote a great deal of time to develop your platform. I mean, not everyone has the time to do it. Okay.
No, but you guys that get to be that are kind of like working more from home, I get that it's a little easier for you. It's just not so easy for me because I actually have to be somewhere to do my job. But yeah, I know.
For me, it was the opposite. I don't know why, but once the pandemic started, that's when it got harder for me to make content because I used to do a lot of my research for my videos at work. But once I was working from home, I don't know what it is. It just became harder for me. I mean, I was doing more lives, but as far as like my actual, like my pre-recorded videos, it got harder for me to do it once I was home. I don't know why.
Okay, the 18 letter said, yeah, Ramon, and you have to threaten somebody and flash your blicky, as you might call it. That'll get more subscribers. I don't know. I don't want that to get me the wrong kind of attention because I could do that. I could sit myself in front of a camera and show something, but I don't know. I don't know if I should do that.
People always expect that, though. If you start getting real ratchet, they're gonna expect it all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, actually, I did one stream that, believe it or not, I got over 300 views, and that's a huge number for me.
Wow.
I mean, that had to do with why people are obsessed about being white. Boy. It seems when it comes to
Yeah, you were saying?
No, it seems like you either have to do wretched or you have to do like extremely controversial topics to get the views.
Yeah, that Dan in the chat was saying, hey, y'all just picking into to see where are all the white women at. Okay. No. I mean, if there are gonna be white women, there are gonna have to be the white so-called Latinas. Well, those are the ones that are better. That's what I would rather go for.
Yeah.
But a more equal opportunity than that.
Yeah. Well, actually, in one stream I did, I actually had 4 ladies on my panel at one time.
Oh, you are in good company. Yeah. You're doing the thing.
Well, slowly but surely.
Yes, but that was with the feminism topic.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing. That there were kind of like the ladies that could chime in and bring in their point of view when it came to that. Well, you're mentioning feminism. Is that something that's Tina, since you are on the panel, which is a rarity? You wanna say something about that?
About feminism?
Yeah. It's okay not to have an opinion on it. That's
no, I mean, didn't we already talk about that like 20 minutes ago? I mean, so like I said earlier, I mean, my opinion on feminism, I think the feminism today is different from the feminism like what it originally was.
Okay, yeah. That's true.
That's true.
Fighting for women's rights and the right to vote and all that stuff. That has already been accomplished. Cool, great. But the feminism of today is just something totally different. And I don't.
Yeah. Like we were mentioning that earlier when it comes to the. But say again.
It's a very anti-man.
Yes.
And it puts women in competition with men when we're not supposed to be in competition.
Yeah, we're supposed to be in cooperation. We're supposed to be in cooperation with each other. That whole competition is kind of like so many women are trying to be
Why
men.
I want to be men so bad? Like I don't get it.
But that's the thing. Many of these women, they want to do and live and have relationships the way that men do, but they're wearing themselves out, and they're gonna be ran through, and they're gonna be emotionally unstable, because that's that whole thing about there are these women that want to be for the streets, as they say.
Yeah, so that's a big part of what votes, like female quote unquote like liberation or like sexual liberation. It's like, is it really liberation though? Because I don't see that has benefited women as a whole. Like I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't see how it has. All we have is a lot more. We got a bunch of single women, a bunch of single mothers, women getting divorced, women with extremely high body counts. Like, how has that helped women as a whole? I don't
and these days, Western women here in North America, they are right now at their most medicated of all time. The women of today having to take antidepressants and other types of medication because of the mental issues that they're having. That's at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll be having so many options and being able to go out there and run the streets and ride the rooster carousel all they want and piling up the body count, racking up numbers. They're trying to do that what the players do. They think that women can do that without any consequence, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Now, to a degree, some do that has access to like a whole bunch of women. Those guys don't necessarily have a lot of respect for themselves because they're trying to stick it in on anything that has a wet hole in it. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like that. Like they're not really that selective. They think that it's about racking a whole bunch of numbers, and they're not going necessarily for quality. That's one thing, but the effects is not the same. I mean, women try to do the same thing because it takes no skill for a woman to have a high body count. It takes no skill. It only takes being somewhat cute. And I mean somewhat. She doesn't have to be that pretty. She doesn't have to be that beautiful. All it takes is position herself okay and be cute and just somewhat attractive, because there is always going to be somebody who's going to want to try to hit it. There is always somebody desperate enough. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I'm going to hop off. Just want to say, Ramon, thank you very much for allowing me on the platform. Christina, it's a rare pleasure to speak to you on the platform, considering, it's very rare. Okay, but I do appreciate the interchange. Thank you very much, guys, and I'm just gonna bid you guys a good night.
Good night.
You too, Don Jose. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one.
Thank you. Good to take care. Bye.
Bye. Yes. Tina, you know what? I think I have given you the credit before, because you might be the single biggest reason why I'm doing this to begin with. I mean, I remember the first time that I talked to you, I was just a spectator when it came to this, when it came to YouTube, and I was just being a spectator. And it was after I had that conversation with you a while back. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like when things started to change, started to get in contact with other people and all. And that's when I kind of decided, but it was only back in December when I did my first ever stream. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I have to give you your flowers for inspiring that. Give you the credit when it comes to that. Yeah. No, I mean it. You made a difference. You made a difference.
Thank you.
Yes. But when it comes to what we were talking about, when we were talking about the whole thing about running the streets, like you were saying, there are these women that are doing all of these things. They are doing the most, and they're not understanding that there is a kind of like a psychological and emotional consequence to that.
Yes, I agree.
And the whole baggage thing is very real. It's very real. The thing is that they might end up with like a couple of kids, having a couple of or a few baby daddies that are having problems with, and then later on when they get older, they want a good man to come in and clean up the mess. I mean, that's not fair.
A lot. You do see it a lot. Yeah. I don't know. I just think a lot of women just lie to themselves when it comes to how. I mean, of course, not every woman is the same, but generally speaking, how we are affected by that type of stuff. And again, they say it's just it's liberation, it's just being free, this and that, which I'm like, because not to get like, I don't know, to sound like biblical or something, but it's like people don't realize you can become a slave to your flesh. And when you live that lifestyle, you become a slave to your flesh. I'm like, how is that liberation? Because when you're constantly doing that, you're constantly going to keep looking for more and more and more to get that feeling of excitement and just like feeding your body. Like, I don't know if that's making sense, but I'm like, the real liberation is being able to go long periods without and not go crazy and not feel like you're a slave to looking for it. But anyway, but as a woman though, just like, I don't know, I just don't see how you receiving men into you constantly won't mess you up mentally. Like, how does that not affect your self-esteem? How does that not affect your sense of self-worth as a woman when you're just letting men enter you, and then they just go on about their life and about their business like nothing? Like, that has to affect with you as a woman. I don't know. That's just that's what I think. But yeah, people have been very misled, and and I think it affects men too. Of course, not necessarily in the same way, but I would think, I don't know, it has to have some type of effect on a man too, to just have like just these meaningless interactions over and over and over again.
Yeah. The whole thing about the body count, accumulating a body count and thinking that they are gonna stay the same person always. Now, okay, fine. They want a liberation. They got the liberation, but they need to be responsible with it. I mean, because they can end up with a kind of like that sound bite that we all have heard, that the Asian guy that says emotional damage. And but that's very real. It's very real. I mean, those that have been running the streets, they have been making themselves vulnerable to a whole bunch of different guys. They end up kind of crazy. I mean, and it's like they need therapy. They need help. When I say therapy, not like the TikTok therapist. Hell no.
Yeah.
No, not somebody like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but hey, it's what people want to do these days. I'm like, listen, it's funny because I had a conversation like this just recently with some of my friends, because my friends, some of them be out there. I ain't gonna lie, some of them they be out there, and I don't know. I was like, I try to avoid these conversations because I know that I'm not going to necessarily agree, and some of them are kind of very feminist. So when it comes to like that particular topic, they were like, I don't know. They're like, oh my God, please don't tell me you're worried about body count and blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares about body count anymore? I'm like, what you mean? Like, I care. I think the person I end up with will care. Like, it's just bad. It's just crazy.
Well, the thing with women, when it comes to the body count, it is becoming more and more understood amongst men is that a woman can lie about the body count and downplay it, downplay the number, say that she's been with much less people than the actual count. I mean, women can lie about that, and just like men might lie about the number being lower than being higher. They can lie up the number up, and women can lie the number down. So men might ask, but to a degree, we already know that there is a strong possibility that the woman is going to be lying anyway. So it makes it kind of difficult when it comes to dating. Because there are women that want to be able. I remember this video. Of this blonde that they were asking about it, and they asked her about the body count, and she said that her body count was like 135, something like that. And like, whoa! I mean that. That's been
how?
Yeah, that's been destroyed. And that woman mentally is not gonna be very stable. I wouldn't trust a woman like that. I mean, yeah, because a man shouldn't have that high of a body count. That could mean more that he's like hella thirsty with it. Doesn't have any discernment or no standards.
Yeah, no.
It can seem like a lot. It can seem like a lot even for a man, but a woman, yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, dang, you really have no respect for yourself.
Yeah, no, and I have come to understand that myself as I have gotten older. When it comes to that, quality is more important than quantity. Having a whole bunch of okay, a man can have a whole bunch can have a high number, but it's the quality of the number. It's the quality. What's their quality when it comes to it? I mean, can the guy really look back and think all of them were finer than a motherfucker? Probably not. Maybe he hooked up with a few whales in the process.
Right. Yeah, it's also interesting once you start. Well, lately I keep seeing these posts about statistically speaking about the rate of successful marriages for women depending on how many sexual partners they've had, and apparently after the fourth sexual partner, apparently your the probability of you having a successful marriage it goes down quite a bit. I was like, oh wow. That's crazy. So it's all very tied in.
Yeah. Because I was watching Per, the girl that does these interviews in London, and she was talking about that. The more sexual, the more sexual partners a woman has, the more difficult it's gonna be for her to do the pair bonding thing. And that's people say that too. Yeah, the whole pair bonding makes it more difficult for a woman to stay married. And we're living in a time where it's women that file for divorce the most. Because a woman can file for divorce and walk away because it is not only because it's incentivized, but also because she can use a lame excuse that she wasn't happy and mess up the home for the kids, because she's not thinking about the children if there are any. She's thinking about her. She's thinking about her happiness. She's giving priority to that. And then a lot of the time, when it comes to the divorces, the guy doesn't want to get a divorce because he knows that he's gonna get screwed. He's gonna be taken to the cleaners when it comes to splitting assets and things, visitation. It must be a whole complicated process. This is something that I don't talk about, but I was actually married at one time years ago. I mean, I'm old, yeah. But when I divorced her, it was a fairly clean and straightforward process because we didn't have kids. But I can only imagine for people that have kids, that they have property, have vehicles, and there are assets that have to be divided, and it's something that takes a long time, and it costs a lot of money, and usually the woman gets most of it, gets the kids, gets the house, and the man has to pay the child support and alimony, probably other things. I mean, and that could be one of the main reasons why men don't want to get married. They don't want to get married because there is a strong probability or possibility that they get taken to the cleaners. I mean, and I feel for these guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't blame some men for not wanting to get married in these days, because it is a risk if you marry the wrong woman. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a problem. So, I mean, anything else? Anything else that you have in mind?
Not at the moment. No.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So let me share what Danny's saying. Well, they do say Dominicanos are big like Hondas. So with that high mileage, I'm sure you can make a few more trips.
Daddy always coming for somebody.
Okay. Well. I mean, I will be very careful. I'm somebody who has dated a couple of Dominicanas myself, so you have to do a lot of betting. Then marry the whale. Okay. Fulana apparently stalling damage. Marry the whale. No, I don't want no whale. I wouldn't want no whale. Just do that. Yeah, they're going at it. They're going in the chat.
Do the ceremony and don't sign the license. Damn.
Do the ceremony and don't sign the license? Yeah. So Ramon has a body count? Fulana, what makes you think that I have a high body count? What makes you think that? Spiritual ceremony at the beach, how sweet. Yeah. Romantic, perfect setting. We all love the beach. Lana, I knew it. I was just messing with you, but you exposed yourself. Okay. We're going at it there. Fake wedding. Wonder who you mean. You said you dated a couple of Dominicanas. Yeah, but that's exactly what I meant. I said that I dated a couple of Dominicanas. Yes, I did. But I said a couple of them, and I meant a couple. I'm not. When I say a couple, I don't mean 10. It's not like that. Yeah. Well, I have sampled most of the. I shouldn't say anything. But I'm from the Caribbean, so I have sampled a couple of places from the Caribbean. Well, actually, Blood Moon, that's not true. I mean, in the time that I have been living in the States, I have only dated one Black American woman. And most of who I have dated have been either Puerto Rican, mostly Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. There have been a couple of Jamaicans, and there has been a Haitian. Okay.
Where did you meet the Dominicans?
Well, the first Dominican that I met her in Puerto Rico. Because, as you know, there are many Dominicans in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And that was the first one. The second one that I dated, I met her in Santo Domingo.
Oh.
Yeah, but she's somebody that I will see when I will go to the DR. So we were on and off. In between, I will do my thing. I will meet somebody else. Okay. Oh, Ramon dips in chocolate. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. What are the wages? Keep government out of your home life. Government messes things up and can ruin the children. Best to let the parents work it out. And I totally agree with that, actually, Danny. And because it's something very personal, the union of two people is something so personal. And I personally hate having to involve the government into it. Having to involve the I don't like. I don't like the notion that I have to let the government know about what is my personal life, and it involves the marriage license that has to be. It uses the same stamp that a business license uses. So what does that tell you? Jamaican woman ain't no joke. But you know what? I did meet a Jamaican American, and she was actually cool with me. With me, she was cool, but later on, she kind of let me know that she had been in trouble, and she believed that she had like a standing arrest warrant for her, and she just hadn't been caught. And eventually, Eventually, she cut me off, but maybe it's because she had gotten into some trouble. So maybe she did do me a favor by doing that, and I haven't heard from her in a while. But I have missed her because she was cute. She was actually cute. Yeah.
Okay.
The government does not belong in your bedroom. It doesn't. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong there. Danny likes Jamaican woman. I don't know about that because of what he was saying earlier on about Tina, saying that Tina was a credit to her race. Huh?
I know.
Funny, yeah. Jamaicans PR, Americans and Dominicans. Yeah. Yes, they are. I don't understand that. What does that mean? Had a choppy? Okay, a chopeadora, you mean? No, not a chopeadora. You know what? No. There was somebody that I will see. There was somebody that I will see when I will go over there, but it was an on and off thing. So it's not like that anymore. Oh, met a hood Jamaican with a record. Yes, I did. Actually, yes, I did. But you know what? Contrary to the Haitian that I used to see, the Jamaican American, she didn't get me in trouble. She didn't try to get me in trouble. So that's why I can't say anything bad about her.
Wait, so a Haitian one trying to get you in trouble?
Yeah, that was when I was in Mississippi. I met a Haitian there, and I don't know. I don't remember exactly how long she had been living in the States. So we were seeing each other, but it got to a point in which she was kind of like, I don't know what she was on, and there was one time that she called me over. She called me over to her place, and I saw her at her place. Did what we did, but later the following day she was talking about that I took advantage of her. But the thing is that we weren't drinking or anything, and we didn't do anything different than we had done before. But she was talking about that I took advantage of her.
Oh wow!
I mean, she had yeah. And from my understanding later on. Later on, I learned that she actually went to the cops and all, but fortunately, because they did their job, they actually did their job. The cops actually started asking her some questions, and they quickly figured out that she was full of shit.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be involved with a Haitian again.
Dang.
I know. It's bad to say that because that will be like me saying that all Haitians are the same. But I don't think I don't know. I will be extremely wary of being involved with another Haitian woman living on the wild side. Yeah. Well, there are so many islands in the Caribbean, so he only mentioned the Spanish-speaking ones. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, majority too. The way you deal with them is to be a gentlemanly a-hole. Yeah, the thing is that that's how they like him. That's how they like him. They like the jerks. They like the jerks. I mean, I've had to learn the hard way not to be too nice with women. I love women very much, but I know that I can't be too nice because they just see somebody that they can walk all over. Stick with your own. It's what I say, Ramon. It will be best for you. Yeah, I am for the most part. I mean, to block none. Yeah, they're going at it in the chat. Just kidding, just a lot of them love having mixed children with Hispanic Caribbean men. Yeah, I see what you mean. Mm-hmm. I know most of the morenas that approach me are Jamaican women. Hey, if they're cute.
That's funny.
There are cute Jamaicans. I have met a couple of them. Yeah.
Damn, they're trying to get down with the swirl, Danny.
No, exactly. Only if they're cute. Only if they're cute and fit. Because I have met, I knew a couple of Jamaicans when I was in Mississippi. When they had just gotten there from Jamaica, they were looking real good. When I saw them again, like 6 months later, yeah, they blew up like a balloon. I mean, they had gotten so big. No discipline.
Wow.
And he likes chocolate too. Nothing wrong with chocolate.
Listen to Buttercup. I am the swirl. Wow. Okay.
She doesn't do the swirl. He is the swirl.
Okay. Dang, stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, lady. I am international. Yeah, I'm all for it. Doing the international thing, sampling different nationalities. It's all about the variety. That's something that many women hate to hear men say. But yes, as men, we do like variety. Yeah, we do. So, Tina, any last words? Because I'm about to close up. I'm gonna be. I have to step out. I have to do some things. So.
Well, thanks for having me on. Finally got a chance to get up here.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's very sporadic and random when I do, but that was good. It was a good, chill conversation. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it only took me like 6 months to get you to join a live stream. Man. Yeah. Well,
it's been like 6 months since I've been on my own channel. So.
Yeah. Right. No, but definitely, I meant every word that I said earlier. and I'm very grateful, and I thank you for coming up to this stream on my microscopic little channel.
Hey,
So hopefully,
sometimes though, being on the smaller channels, it's like less pressure. At least the way I feel. Like I feel more nervous going on my channel, even though I don't always have that many viewers. But because I have so many subscribers, you never know. But being on the smaller channels, I find to be easier.
yeah. No, because I mean,
So I
something
don't
that
pressure.
Say again. I didn't hear. My bad.
No, I was just gonna say, like, at least to me, when I'm on like a smaller channel with less viewers, it's just less pressure. So.
No, definitely. Yeah. Because what I do here when I have the chance to do my tiny little streams is just that I try to pick a subject, but it can get open-ended if the interaction goes somewhere else. And it's a hangout. It's a hangout. There is no pressure. Yeah. Nobody has to be great. Nobody has to be able to do lectures or do dissertations and come from with a whole bunch of knowledge, be like an educator level knowledge. And nobody has to do that. Nobody has to have that. This is just a hangout. Just speak what's on your mind, share your thoughts, views. There is nothing is going to be censored as long as it is done in kind of like a respectful manner and people communicate like adults. That's what this is about. I mean, I know what was being said earlier in the chat. I was being told that I need to have ratchetness, and that will drive up the views.
To everybody though. Bloom always gonna root ratchetness.
No, but no. But she does have a point. I get the point. I get the point.
It brings engagement. It does.
Yeah. Because I know how it gets on your panels. Yeah. How it will go with your panels? No. But I'll tell you now what I will tell you, or will tell you before. It's like, hey, it's your panel, it's your stream. It's kind of like an extension of your house. I mean, you have every right to tell people to kind of like let other people talk and not be disrespectful. I can't tell you what to do on your channel, but it's what I would recommend. I mean, so everybody can express themselves, but because I feel like they're disrespecting you, and others, the guests, the panelists, they should respect your channel, your platform. But then again, okay. Let me see. Just talk your talk. Yeah, we try here. It says her from being so respectful in this chat. Okay. Well, if you're having a good time, that's a good thing. You can find many varieties in the Hispanic community alone. Have a good time, Fulana, if you're still listening. All right. So once again, Tina, I appreciate you being on my tiny little chat, on my tiny little live stream, and I look forward to have you join on a future one. And yeah. I'll also look forward to you doing a live stream of your own, so I can show up and show some support.
Yeah, I know. Y'all know how I am. I get like just. I don't know.
Okay, but let me. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question about that? Did you get discouraged?
Kind of. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of did a little bit, especially when everybody was and their mama was coming for me last year. Like last summer, like after that. I mean, I still went live after that, obviously, and still did my videos, but still, it's like, damn. But yeah, no, I mean, I did a little bit, but that's not the main reason. Sometimes I don't know. I think because our little sector too is sometimes it just got a little too kind of like toxic a little bit, and I don't really do well in that type of environment. It makes me want to retreat. It makes me want to just go into like the shadows and just watch from like the sidelines. So So yeah, nah.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I want, or like if there's like a lot of drama going on, I don't want to be associated with it. I don't want to be seen with it. If other people that I'm cool with are beefing, like I don't want, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well, because there have been some of the usual. Oh, say again. Say again. I didn't hear.
No, that sometimes as a content creator, you get burnt out, or you kind of lose
Mhm.
motivation for like a period of time. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there have been certain content creators that I will call the usual suspects because they were the ones that will start up the shit. But some of them we're not seeing them anymore. There are a few. There are a few. I think you know who I'm referring to. That we don't really see them.
Actually, somebody, I don't know, maybe like a month and a half ago was like they asked me, hey, have you noticed a lot of people that used to like talk shit about you? They're not really like around anymore. But you're still not. I mean, I'm not that active, but I'm still present on YouTube. And I was like, I don't know. I don't check for them, so I wouldn't know if they were active or not. But they were like, yeah, a lot of them aren't really around anymore. So,
Okay. Yeah, but it tells you something. It tells you something that maybe what they were talking about, what they will stand for, it didn't have any legs to it. I mean, it wasn't sustainable because maybe what they were about, what they were talking in the channels, it wasn't sustainable. I mean, they were kind of like showing a whole bunch of hate, and they were being harmful. They were making us look bad. So I wasn't subscribing to none of that. I just couldn't do it. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm referring to. But still, definitely, I will look for something from you. I will look forward to a future stream of yours. And once again, I thank you for being on my tiny little panel. Shout out to the panel, to the chat that I see that they're going at it. But I'm gonna be closing off now. Hit the like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications. And once again, Tinia, I appreciate you being on the panel. You have a good one.
All right, thank you. Good night, Ramon, and good night to everybody in the chat. Bye.
Hey, bye everybody.